So as you can see, we've got Charlie the Terror on the plot today. Charlie just walks around weird on everything. You know what? The chickens don't even bother him though, which is uncharacteristic for a terrier. But yeah, he just doesn't seem to get fazed by him. So it appears that these new compost heaps are going to be his. Come on, Charlie. So the rhubarb that I pulled out is starting to sprout. So an old guy told me that just to leave them out and let the weather get to them for a bit. Oh, the chickens are awake. Good morning. As you can see, we've got Charlie on the plot today. I'm not sure that's going to pan out. He hasn't been on this new plot. He was okay on the other one. Like, yeah, he didn't. The chickens didn't even faze him. I have got another dog as well, but that dog's not very well. So Charlie's taking advantage of leaving Louis on his own for a bit so he can rest. Where's he gone? Go, Charlie. Come on. Come on. Stop digging the parser. I've got so much to do today. I've still got to add some super soil to some pots that Steve from Digwell's Green Fingers gave me. I've got some bulbs to put in. I'm planning on putting tulips and daffodils down each of the beds here for spring. I've got so many things to plant up, and I've just been distracted because there's some strawberries here that's turning red. Let me show you. So if you remember, I replanted these last week. They're now turning red, and we're now in November. The end of November, and we're getting strawberries. There's more there. What's all that about? Nature's wonderful, aye. Look at it, he's on someone else's pot now. Come on! Charlie, come on! Charlie, come on! Come on, Charlie! Come on! Come on! Go on down there. Go on. Ugh. I'm just not going to get any work done otherwise. Why did I bring this dog? Look at him. And he's following me everywhere. Which is alright, but he's just knocking everything with his lead. I've had to stake him in. Because he's just wandering. Like, I know he's a dog. Right, let's have a look. So I've had an idea. So I was worrying that I didn't have no spring cabbage, and I thought to myself, why did I not sow any spring cabbage? Or like, that's just not like me, because they're like my favourite thing to grow. And then I thought, I'll message Malcolm Kingswell. Oh, he's digging up all the blooming garlic. Get out of there, get! He's digging all the onions up now. This dog. So if anyone wants a dog, he's free to a good home. If you've got an allotment, don't have him. Right, where was I? Okay, so I was worried about the spring cabbage. I thought, it's too late to sow some now. So I thought I'd message Malcolm Kingswell. He hasn't got any either. So I thought, So I went to a few garden centres hoping that there might be a few stragglers, you know, in a tray at the back. Nothing. And then I thought, hang on. I did. So, and I thought it was strange. I think it's just because I've been so preoccupied on other things that it just slipped my mind. So I've got some in here absolutely battered by slugs and things. So, let's have a look. I forgot all about these. Let's lift the net a minute. Should have pre-done this. So these are spring cabbage in here. They've been battered and battered. So what I thought I'd do is, I thought I'll dig them up. I'll dig them up and I'll he's in here now. Charlie, get out! Come on, out! I thought I'd dig them up and I'll put them, you know, a bit more secure, and I'll mother them for a bit, so that they're nice and strong. And then at least I'll have some spring cabbage for next year. So that's, look what he's done here now. This blooming dog. Get right. Oh my god, he's gonna have to go home. This is killing the plot. He's ruining the plot. Right, I'll sniff a bit down here a minute. He's gonna ruin the whole thing. All this work has been destroyed by a... Look at him. Look at him. All this work that I've shown you in the last month or so has been completely destroyed by a Jack Russell. Even the paths. So it's official, Jack Russells do not encourage no dig. Because there's holes everywhere. He just looks for trouble, he does. Look at this hole. Right, let's get back to actual gardening. So let me have a look what I've got. So, hold on. How am I going to do this now? Let's go in the greenhouse. Okay, so some of the jobs today are that I've got... Is he joking me? Shush! I'm just by here. Right, so some of the jobs today are to put some more tulips in. Right, so some of the jobs today... Charlie, that's enough. Right, so some of the jobs to do today is... Come with me. In here. Right, now try and stay out of trouble in the greenhouse. Like that's going to happen. Right, so some of the jobs today are the tulips. I've got some sweet peas that I've still got to put in. I've got the super soil mix that I need to do off Steve from Digwell Green Fingers. I've also got some spring bulbs and flowers. They got to go in. Oh, and some more. And then on top of that I've got, just random, for some reason they've given me a pack of wet wipes as well in the order. They're definitely not mine. So I'm not sure if the pack have left those in or something, I'm not sure. And I've also got some Lilia spring onions. So I'm going to put a few of those into trial, but these are mainly for next spring. But I'm going to try some now. So I've got some sweet peas. I've never overwintered sweet peas. Like I've always just done it in the spring and had like a little bit of a, you know, nice show. I also had some Brussels sprouts and seeds delivered. So I'll show you. They're the red bulbs. So I'm going to plant them next year as well. So they're basically like a purple Brussels sprout. These bulbs are, I'll put the name on the underneath because I can't remember. So I bought these as well. So they all need to go in. He's now sat in a pot of potatoes. I brought you over here and all you've done is cause pure carnage. Haven't you? Say. Hey? That's all you've done is pure carnage. This was supposed to be a lovely little show today where you pop over as a little visitor. Hey? Sit quietly. Do a bit of digging and weeing. And all you've done is dig massive holes, run all over the beds and cause absolute mayhem. Haven't you? Come on. Home time for you. Right, so I've potted up those scrawny old cabbages. I think they're April. I think they might be April. But this one looks okay. This one, and this one's looking not so bad. So, yeah, I'd be happy with them if they have a few cabbages next year. So I'm going to pot them on, and then I'll put them out once I know they're a bit more stronger. Right, next job. Right, so let's plant out the sweet peas. So this is a giant Spencer waved scented mix. So let's pop them in. I pop them in my root trainers. So if you just pop them in. I've had to give it a bit of water. It's drier than my humour, this. And then I'll give it a good soak in. Right, so plant them down. Right, let's speed this up a little bit. Right, so that's that done. Add a bit more compost to the top. Look at that. Look at that from a bag of compost. And it's not cheap stuff either. The John in this stuff. God. Noticed that a lot lately as well. It's on everyone's. Just getting massive pieces of bark, and it's peat free, which, you know, understandable. But like a few of the others have said, that there needs to be a standard for it as well. Like if we're paying good money for this compost, there needs to be a standard where that they'll send it out for us, not just anything in a bag. I've had glass, plastic, you know, big stones like this. Like that's, why am I paying for that, you know? Right, next job. Let's label that up, and we'll get on to the next thing. Okay, so I'm just heading out now. I've just seen on Facebook that a lady was selling some chickens, so they need to be rehomed because she's reducing her flock. So I'm heading off there now, 30 miles. So let's go. So I've picked up the chickens. I'm heading back home now. I've got to collect some chicken food and all from the suppliers on the way, and then we'll try and settle the chickens in. They seem to be integrating okay at the moment. It's new territory. They'll soon have a pecking order in place. It's brutal on times, honestly. Like they peck each other, and it looks like a form of bullying, and it is. So I'll have to monitor them the next couple of days. The best thing to do now is like just let them mix and mingle. They absolutely live in this little pool at the moment, I've noticed, of the rainwater. They seem to run to this one every single morning and have a little drink of it. Even though they got their own water, they seem to like this little bit of rainwater. So yeah, like I said, now I'll just leave them mingle for an hour or two. They've got quite a lot of space that they'll just scratch around together. They'll notice each other more when they go into the coop, and they might be in a bit of a kerfuffle, especially because these are bigger birds than what I've got. So you just got to watch for the bullying and things, that I don't get too much out of hand. But I've done this a few times now. I'll clean up the coop, make the smell a bit more neutral. I didn't feed them this morning, which I normally do, so they're quite peckish. No pun intended, but they're quite peckish. So the reason I do that is that when I add the food in, they're more preoccupied about eating the food, because obviously they're a bit hungry. than fighting the chickens, so they all eat together communally and then they seem to get on better. That's always worked fine for me. Poor old little Scylla, she's tiny, so she's probably wondering who these huge birds are that's wandering around here. Scylla keeps trying to get up the other side of the coop. They seem to all be having a little scratch around now, and there's no fighting so far. So I'm gonna leave them for an hour or so and carry on my jobs, and then tomorrow is a new day. I'll come back over tonight as well, and once they're all in bed, I'll put the new chickens, if they haven't gone up into the coop up there, because what happens is they're very docile. They're all docile and quite sleepy, so they don't tend to worry about other chickens being added to the coop. So that's another there's a chicken now got inside the compost heap, but yeah, they tend to be a bit more docile, and then they tend to integrate better. And then the morning, then I'll set the timer and the door to open an extra hour early, so that they all come out together, and hopefully they'll be okay. But I'll be back over again tomorrow and keep an eye on them. But so far so good. The only issue I'm having is this one keeps trying to fly over the fence, so I'm gonna have to keep an eye on them. They're just perching around chilling out with the others now, so they seem to be okay though. Fingers crossed they'll all be friends by in a couple of days. Right, I'm gonna head home. They all seem to be going on, which is great. So far so good. So I'm gonna go home, have a shower. I'll come back over tonight to make sure that everyone's in the coop. If they're not, then I'll manually put them into the coop, and then I'll come back over in the morning, check out they're okay again. Right, let's go home.